What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Jerome, and I'm here tonight with a review for The Real Housewives of Atlanta. This is season number 11, and this episode was titled To Love and Cherish. So, without further ado, we are going to get this video started. Alright, so before I actually get into the video, I want to talk about the taglines of this season. So, we start out with Nene's. Hers is, I am the glue from my wig and my family. I kind of like that one. Then we get Cynthia Bailey's. Hers is, I age like fine wine, and now I'm ready to chill. Cynthia, if you are on the same bullshit about your 50th birthday, which was now 2 years ago, I'm gonna be over you this season. Then we have Candiace, who is, I count my blessings and my checks. We have Eva's, who is a newcomer. Hers is, I live a model life, and now I'm ready to be a top wife. And then we have Portia's, who's, I took a left turn, but now things are just right. And we're not going to get into Shamari's because we were not introduced to Shamari this episode. I don't feel like we'll be introduced to Shamari next episode. It might be episode 3 where we are introduced to Shamari DeVoe. So we're just going to talk about the main ones that we have this episode. So of all the girls' taglines this season, the one that I really liked the most was Eva's. You know, her being a being a model, and now she's wanting to be a top wife. I liked Eva's. So now we are actually going to get into the episode. All right, so I'm going to start the episode out with the person who didn't have a whole lot going on in this episode, and that'll be Eva. You know, now Eva is a full-time housewife. We got rid of Sheree, the bone-carrying ass, and we no longer have Kenya as well. So Eva is now a full-time peach holder, like I said. Eva didn't really have much in this episode because we just saw her with two scenes. The first scene we saw Eva with, she was with her then fiance Michael and their newborn, their 2-month-old little boy, and her daughter, her 4-year-old daughter Marley, who she has with Kevin McCall, and they're doing a family photo shoot. Now, when they did this photo shoot, Eva was talking about. She sat down. She's doing it just with her and Marley at first. But then Michael and Michael Jr. came into the picture, and she had little Marley there, and she was like, "Do you want to sit on Daddy's lap?" I'm like, "Oh, to the shit." Kevin McCall is gonna be on Instagram, Twitter with a motherfucking rant because completely she shaded him because she said that Michael is literally the only father that Marley knows, and I'm like, ooh, that don't account for the daddy that she actually has, like. Because y'all know the drama between Kevin McCall and Eva is thick as fuck. I'm like, Kevin McCall is going to be on social media going ham and ape shit because of what Eva just said. I'm like, I am ready to see this shit on the Shade Room tomorrow, tonight, whenever we see it. But guarantee you, Kevin McCall is going to do the motherfucking fool. Alright, so next I'm going to do Cynthia. Looking at Cynthia, she acts like a high school kid who is having a crush because we found out that she's dating a new guy who she met through her friend Steve Harvey. And I'm like, oh, you met somebody through Steve Harvey. I would not be so happy to claim him. So, they've been together for 3 months. And like I said, she met him through She's met him through Steve Harvey. She's talking about how he's been all up in Lake Bailey, which I took that to be a sexual pun, that he's had sex with her, but she didn't have sex with Will last season, and she was acting the same way about Will that she is about this guy. But, if Cynthia likes it, I love it. And, Noel comes into the house, and she says that Noel has met, his name is Mark, or Mike Hill. I forgot what the fuck his name was. He works in LA, and she's out there in Atlanta. And they're talking about the relationship that they have. And he's telling her how he doesn't want to come to Atlanta, how LA is home for him. But like I said, Noelle comes into the house. She's on FaceTime with him. And the reason why I said Cynthia acted like a little schoolgirl was because when she got the FaceTime for him, she was sitting there flipping her braids. And I'm like, Cynthia, you are acting like a kid. You are a 52-year-old woman acting like a high school, like a 15, 14, 16, 17, 18-year-old girl who is just dating for the first time, and you have been married to Peter. You have a baby. You had a kid with Leon. So I was slightly confused by Cynthia this whole episode. And like I said, she was talking about, I'll keep going around about how she said Noelle was introduced to Mike, Mark, whatever the hell his name is, and how it was awkward, which I mean, I guess it would be awkward. All Noelle really knew was Peter and her dad. So yes, things are going to be a little bit awkward for Noelle because, like I said, the only men that she's known in her life was Peter, who's been in her life since she was a little bitty girl, and her dad, Leon, who's always going to be in her life. So of course, her meeting a new guy is going to be awkward. And, you know, like I said, Cynthia just acts like a school kid who has a new crush on somebody. Like, Cynthia, you're a beautiful woman. So why do you act the way that you act when it comes to guys? Is it, I wonder if Cynthia is awkward about dating guys and being around guys. I just wonder that if she's just awkward. It could be that. I don't know. Then we also did see this scene where Cynthia, she's packing, and I forgot to say this about Eva as well, but I guess I'll get to this later. But Cynthia, she's packing because Portia called them about going on a trip to Miami since Nene is having a comedy show down there, and then she's opening up her swag boutique, Swagalicious, whatever the name of the boutique is, I can't remember. So she calls, so Cynthia gets a phone call from Nene, and Nene is asking Cynthia, is she gonna come to the comedy show? So Cynthia is like trying to tell her she's not sure if she's gonna come or not. And basically the reason why Cynthia is telling her that is because Cynthia is it's a surprise. She doesn't want Nene to know that she's coming down there, which I'm like, why don't you want her to know that you're coming? Like, that's your girl. She's going through something really traumatic right now. So just tell her, you know, yeah, girl, I'm coming to support you. But if Cynthia wants to surprise Nene, let's let Cynthia surprise Nene. I mean, it is what it is. Okay, so now I'm talking about Candy. Candy is out there in LA. She's out there with Escape. They are going to the ASCAP Award where they're getting presented with, I think she said it's called the Golden Note Award. So she's with Latasha Scott and Tamika Scott. And it's actually really good to see Candy and Escape them together, you know, because for years they had that beef between Tamika and Candy. So it's definitely good to see them together. You know, she's talking about the Great Escape Tour, which I did hear good things about the Great Escape Tour because I have friends who went to the show here in Dallas. And I actually have a really good friend of mine who went to the show in New Orleans. And she was on Twitter, not Twitter, but she was on Instagram. And she kind of just, you know, was recording the show as it was happening. And it looked like a damn good time. So kudos to them for that. And, you know, like I said, they're getting that award. So, you know, Candy has her family out, flew her family from Atlanta out there. So she's flown Todd, Ace, her stepdaughter, Kayla, and Riley's there. And also Don Juanita is there as well. I'm not going to shade him because he hasn't done anything so far. So far, so good. And, you know, she's talking about how Riley has lost 52 pounds, which that is a good thing. When I saw that picture of Riley on social media, I'm like, that's good to see that girl lost the weight that she did. Like, it wasn't nothing wrong with her, but it's good to see a girl of her age, you know, slim down. And Riley is only 15 years old. Riley looks like she's older than 15. Riley looked like she's at least 18 or 19 years old. And, you know, Candy is talking to them about, you know, she has 2 embryos left. And she's talking about how she doesn't really feel like she wants to leave the embryos in the freezer. And Riley's like, I think you should leave the embryos in the freezer. And, you know, Candy's like, but you said you wanted a little sister. She was like, yeah. But after seeing how you two are with kids, no. She's like, because when I was a kid, you know, when I was younger, she said Candy was always around and she always wondered if Candy actually had a job. And then Don Juan says, you know, well, your mama got like 20 different jobs now. And then Todd tells her, you know, this is, you know, to keep the lifestyle that we are accustomed to, she has to work. And Riley made a very valid point that, you know, having the money doesn't mean anything, you know, if you're not with your family. And then, you know, she's telling Candy how she feels like when Candy comes into town, she's only there for maybe 2 days or so. And then she's gone again and she just kind of misses Candy. And, you know, I definitely get where Riley is coming from. And I feel like the same thing is kind of going to happen with Ace because, you know, when Candy was doing her confessional, she was looking at her phone and she missed some kind of parent-teacher conference at Ace's school. Like, it's all good to, you know, be out there, make the money so that your family doesn't have to suffer, but they are still suffering in a way because you are not around and present like you want to or should be or could be. So I definitely got where Riley is coming from. Like, Riley is a old soul. Like, she's wise beyond her years. All right, so now I'm gonna move over to Portia. And before I even start talking about Portia, I want to talk about something that I saw I want to talk about something that I saw on the Shade Room today. So I really wasn't even gonna bring this shit up, but people keep talking about Portia in conjunction with Kenya, because today Kenya gave birth to her baby girl. Her name is Brooklyn Doris Daly. I actually remembered that. So she had her baby. Then later on in the day, Nene posted a post with I guess it's supposed to be Portia. Portia was in the hospital with the IV in her hand, and Nene is just saying prayers up for Portia, and that all is good with the baby. Just prayers up for her. And then I saw a lot of people commenting, talking about Portia did this to upstage Kenya. Portia got pregnant to keep a storyline. Portia did XYZ. But did y'all forget that Portia just went to Kenya's baby shower a few weeks, like last week or the week before? Like, and I even asked a question like, do you think that Portia is that fucking desperate to be on this show that she would not fake, but get pregnant by a guy that she doesn't, well, technically she kind of did, but we're not going to go there. But do y'all really think she's just going to sit there and do that just for a storyline? If you do, something's obviously wrong with you. But we do see Portia. She is with her new boyfriend. His name is Dennis. They've been together for 5 months. She said she met him at a club when one of her friends took her there. And then we see them, they're going jewelry shopping. Actually, they're going ring shopping. I'm like, at 5 months, you guys are going ring shopping. But I guess I can't say. I guess it's not uncommon, because shit, look at the Jolly Green Giant, Khloe Kardashian. She married Lamar Odom after knowing him for 1 month. So stranger things happen. But looking at Dennis, he's not at all what I pictured Portia to be with. But I mean, I guess we gotta look at Cordell. So whatever. So I have the question: is Portia still a baby vegan, or even a vegan period? Because Portia's ass, man, that ass is thick as fuck. And then we see her go to her house, and she had a Chick-fil-A cup. I'm like, yep, Portia, you're not a vegan, are you? But I did see her eating, I think that might have been kale or something, or a salad. But I'm like, Portia, are you even still a vegan? Because your ass, like I said, is humongous. So she has her sister there, and she has her assistant there. And, she's talking about how she's going to Miami with Dennis for her birthday. And then she's also talking about how Nene is also going to be in Miami doing her comedy show. And you motherfucker, doing a comedy show. And she's also opening up her boutique, and she wants the girls to come out there. So she goes down the line and she calls, we only see her call 2 girls. She called Sheree, ooh, wrong person. She called Cynthia, and then she also called Candy. So, Cynthia says I don't think Cynthia said she was going to go or not. I can't remember. I wasn't really listening to Cynthia. But then she called Candy, and the conversation between her and Candy was completely awkward as fuck. She's talking about, maybe we can ride to on the plane together. I'm like, girl, y'all just made up at the reunion, and that wasn't that long ago that y'all made up, because they filmed this maybe a month or 2 after the reunion aired, and they filmed the reunion. Oh God, that little motherfucker's gonna bother me. So, but Candy does agree, saying, let's go support Nene and have, do what we got to do. All right, so then we got Portia. She and Dennis, she's packing on her way to go to Miami. So she has on this red wig and this white outfit. And like I said, that girl's ass is huge as fuck. So like I said, she and Dennis are getting ready to head to Miami. So then they get to Miami, and, they're in the car. She's talking about how some of the girls are going to be there. And then she's talking about Candy. And she's asking him, does he know Candy? He's like, I kind of know of her. And then he said that, I used to live across, I live across the street from OLG, and I go there once a week. Like, anybody who's been to OLG, is the food good? Like, I heard mixed reviews about OLG. So if anybody who's watching this video, let me know if you've been to the OLG restaurant, if you like the food, if the food is good. And, tell me what's the best thing on the menu, because at some point I do plan on going to Atlanta, and I do want to check out the OLG restaurant. So, like I said, just let me know what you guys think about the OLG restaurant. So then Portia just tells Dennis that, she's just, at this point, she's just not really ready to bring him around the girls until they are engaged, which they didn't get engaged until long after this. They just recently got engaged. So I guess, you had to bring the cat out the bag before you guys even got fucking engaged, but it is what it is. All right, so then we got Portia. She and Dennis, she's packing on her way to go to Miami. So she has on this red wig and this white outfit, and like I said, that girl's ass is huge as fuck. So like I said, she and Dennis are getting ready to head to Miami. So then they get to Miami, and they're in the car. She's talking about how some of the girls are gonna be there, and then she's talking about Candy, and she's asking him, does he know Candy? He's like, I kind of know of her. And then he says that, I used to live across, I live across the street from OLG, and I go there once a week. Like, anybody who's been to OLG, is the food good? Like, I heard mixed reviews about OLG, so if anybody who's watching this video, let me know if you've been to the OLG restaurant, if you like the food, if the food is good, and, tell me what's the best thing on the menu, because at some point I do plan on going to Atlanta, and I do want to check out the OLG restaurant. So, like I said, just let me know what you guys think about the OLG restaurant. So then Portia just tells Dennis that, she's just, at this point, she's just not really ready to bring him around the girls until they are engaged, which they didn't get engaged until long after this. They just recently got engaged. So I guess, you had to bring the cat out the bag before you guys even got fucking engaged, but it is what it is. All right, so then the last thing that I want to talk about is Nene. So the whole scene with Nene when it first came on was really, really sad, because it's the aftermath of Greg finding out that he had stage 3 colon cancer. Greg, he's lost a lot of weight, which he had lost weight before, but he's lost a lot of more weight. And I just really, my heart broke watching that scene with Greg. So Nene has people over to the house. They're going to pray for Greg and hopefully uplift Greg. So then, Greg goes downstairs, and like I said, they're talking to the friends that are there to pray for him. And then Greg kind of breaks down, because Greg is telling how when he went to the hospital and they found the cancer, they told him that they had to immediately operate on him, or else, he wouldn't even be here. So that night he wrote a letter, and he told the doctor before he went into surgery to give it to Nene. And my heart so broke in that scene, looking at that scene, because he was talking about how hard it was for him to write that letter to Nene. And I imagine that it was hard to write that, because when my mom passed away, like a week or two later, I was going through some things, and I found a letter similar to what Greg wrote for Nene. And in the letter, she told me how much she loved me, and I just broke down crying. And I actually broke down crying watching that scene. I'm not gonna cry now, but I did break down crying just looking at that whole scene, because it just made me remember the letter that I found, and I actually still have that letter to this day. And prayers up for Greg. Like, he's, and he talked about how he took out a big portion of his colon. Like, my heart goes out to Greg and to both Nene. So keep your head up, Greg and Nene. You guys will get through this strength of God. All right, so then we have Portia. She goes over to Nene's store, and she's going over to Nene's store to basically check on Nene. And this season, Nene and Portia are in a better place, because remember last season, the door is closed. When season 10 first opened up, Nene and Portia was in a bad space. Then the door cracked open in Barcelona, and now here they are back to being good friends with one another. Their little sister, big sister thing. And, like I said, Portia's just going over to check on Nene. Nene says that, right now she's not trying to think too much about it. She just throws herself into work so that way she's not depressed. And I definitely get that. You don't want to sit there and think about it so long that you bring yourself down and bog yourself down. So definitely get that. So then, Nene is telling Portia how she's going to Miami to do a comedy show. And I'm like, I'm not going to shade her too much, because I don't think of Nene as a comedian. She says funny stuff on the Housewives, but a comedian, I don't see it, but that's neither here nor there. And then, she's telling her how she's going to open up a new store. And then Portia's telling Nene that, she's going to Miami with her friend, Dennis, her boyfriend. And, Nene is helping Portia find some things to wear to Miami. And they're having a good old time with Portia trying on the clothes. And again, that ass is thick than a motherfucker. But that was Real Housewives of Atlanta. Like the video, leave your comments, and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you guys later for Married to Medicine.